The story begins with a powerful mafia boss named Song Bang, who arrives in a strategically important district, an ideal location for his new business venture. In this meeting, several influential figures are present, including the regional governor, a member of parliament, the leader of a local organization, and a representative from a financial cooperative. At that moment, Song Bang exudes arrogance and overconfidence, believing that his wealth and power place him above others. His audacity knows no bounds as he openly disrespects the governor, behaving in a manner that disregards ethical and social norms. With unrelenting ambition, Song Bang intends to take control of this district, ensuring that government officials bow to his will, including a parliament member who has already accepted a thick envelope of bribe money from him. Unlike Song Bang, the local leaders remain composed despite his overbearing and domineering demeanor. In an extreme display of power, Song Bang pours water over the head of the local organization's leader, an act of blatant disrespect. Outraged, the leader rises from his seat, but before he can react, he is shot dead by one of Song Bang's henchmen. As tensions escalate, the parliament member urgently persuades the governor, Cho Wan, to approve Song Bang's proposals. However, as a man of honor and integrity, Cho Wan firmly yet courteously refuses. Unwilling to accept rejection, Song Bang immediately orders his men to take action. However, he is not the only one prepared for confrontation. Cho Wan has brought a highly skilled martial artist known as the Guitar Knight, who single-handedly defeats Song Bang's henchmen with remarkable ease. Realizing the severity of the situation, Song Bang calls upon his right-hand man, Zheng Zhao, a formidable fighter known for his unparalleled combat skills. Zheng Zhao swiftly overpowers the Guitar Knight and all of Cho Wan's warriors. After securing victory, Zheng Zhao casually washes his face with ice-cold water, his calm and composed demeanor instilling fear among Cho Wan's remaining men, who dare not challenge him further. Even in the face of defeat, Cho Wan stands resolute in his refusal to cooperate with Song Bang. With no other options left, Song Bang executes Cho Wan without hesitation. To solidify his control over the district, he uses the deceased governor's fingerprint to sign the business authorization documents. Moments later, an unexpected noise echoes through the room, prompting Song Bang to send Zheng Zhao to investigate. It turns out to be nothing more than a stray cat searching for food. With all obstacles eliminated, Song Bang officially establishes his business empire in the district. 15 years later, the story shifts focus to a young man named Su Wan, who is strong and possesses an impressive fighting style. Unbeknownst to him, Zheng Zhao witnesses his combat skills and, without hesitation, recruits him as his right-hand man. Meanwhile, in another location, Song Bang, now a widely feared and influential figure, receives an important guest, an overseas business partner. Like Song Bang, this man exhibits a tyrannical nature, showing interest in one of Song Bang's female attendants. Without resistance, he takes her away, leaving her with no choice but to comply. Sometime later, Zheng Zhao and Su Wan were carrying out an assignment, meeting with a businessman who happened to be a rival of Song Bang while bringing along a suitcase. Unexpectedly, the suitcase contained a woman, the businessman's mistress, causing him great embarrassment in front of his peers. Shortly after, Song Bang arrived with the intention of taking over the territory. When the businessman adamantly refused, Zheng Zhao stepped forward and issued a threat. However, the businessman managed to escape. This led to Zheng Zhao being surrounded by the businessman's hired men, forcing him to maneuver through the city streets to evade capture. Fortunately, Su Wan arrived just in time to provide assistance. For the first time, they worked together as a team. However, Su Wan harbored an intense hatred toward the businessman and was determined to end his life. Witnessing this, Zheng Zhao attempted to stop Su Wan, but his warnings fell on deaf ears. In the end, their actions led to both of them being taken into police custody. Despite this, Song Bang wielded immense financial power. Thanks to his influence, Zheng Zhao and Su Wan were freed from legal consequences and released on the same day. However, Zheng Zhao soon noticed that Su Wan was hiding something. It turned out he had been injured during the earlier fight. Without hesitation, Zheng Zhao took him to Pao Nan, an expert in healing and, coincidentally, his wife. Interestingly, Su Wan refused to take any painkillers, insisting on enduring the pain alone, leaving everyone bewildered. The following day, Zheng Zhao introduced Su Wan as his new right-hand man to Song Bang. However, there was an intense, unreadable day in Su Wan's eyes as he looked at Song Bang. Whatever was on his mind, Su Wan was remarkably skilled at keeping secrets. Sometime later, aboard a luxurious yacht, Song Bang prepared to distribute the profits from his illegal business. He declared that half of the earnings would go to anyone willing to complete a special task before receiving their share. As most of Song Bang's subordinates hesitated, Su Wan boldly stepped forward and volunteered for the job. Su Wan's unilateral decision infuriated Zheng Zhao, who considered it reckless and unauthorized. This led to a heated argument between them, though it did not last long. Not long after, the scene shifted to a nightclub inside an airplane, heavily guarded. Before long, Su Wan and Zheng Zhao arrived, ready to execute Song Bang's mission, to seize a shipment of contraband from a group of local gangsters. But before that, they divided the tasks. Su Wan would enter the club to create a distraction, while Zheng Zhao would take control of the truck carrying the illicit goods. Before long, a fierce battle erupted inside the nightclub as Su Wan fought against the gangsters. Meanwhile, Zheng Zhao successfully took control of the truck carrying the illicit goods. However, Su Wan, fighting alone, suffered severe injuries. Just as he was about to be finished off, Zheng Zhao arrived in time to save him, and together they managed to eliminate the gangsters. Following the success of this mission, Song Bang was overjoyed and planned to entrust part of his business to Zheng Zhao. Although Zheng Zhao was not particularly interested, he dared not refuse and accepted his employer's wishes. Upon returning home, Zheng Zhao received wonderful news. His beloved wife Pao Nan was pregnant. They celebrated with a family dinner and even invited Su Wan. In addition, Su Wan gifted Zheng Zhao a precious necklace that had belonged to his late father, symbolizing that he now considered Zheng Zhao his own brother. That night, in the quiet solitude, Su Wan was seen carving a statue, a longtime hobby of his. The following day at the police station, a commander named Ran Yuan prepared a raid on criminals engaged in an illegal transaction. The targets were Song Bang and a Mexican mafia group conducting a high-stakes deal. Before the deal could be completed, Ran Yuan and his team stormed in, leading to a fierce gunfight between the two sides. During the raid, the police managed to take down the Mexican mafia, but Song Bang escaped through the back alley. Just as he was about to flee further, Zheng Zhao suddenly appeared, aiming a gun at him. It was revealed that Zheng Zhao had been an undercover officer all along. However, the unexpected happened. Su Wan appeared and pointed a gun at Zheng Zhao before shooting him, causing him to fall into the river. With Zheng Zhao presumed dead, Su Wan became the prime candidate to replace him. Aboard a moving boat, Song Bang attempted to uncover Su Wan's true background to prevent another betrayal. But the situation took a shocking turn when Su Wan strangled the boat's driver from behind, causing them both to be thrown toward the riverbank. Yet, the miracles had not ended. Zheng Zhao was still alive and completely unharmed. In reality, during the incident, Su Wan had intentionally aimed at the metal necklace given to him by his late father, knowing it would protect Zheng Zhao from harm. This proved that Su Wan never intended to kill him. Shortly after, Zheng Zhao received a message from Su Wan, revealing his location and inviting Zheng Zhao to witness the downfall of Song Bang. Aboard a ship, Song Bang found himself on the brink of death as Su Wan prepared to exact his long-awaited revenge. When Song Bang demanded to know Su Wan's identity, Su Wan revealed that he was the son of Cho Wan, the regional leader whom Song Bang had murdered 15 years ago. Now Su Wan was determined to avenge his father's death. Unexpectedly, the mysterious cat sound that Song Bang had heard that night was, in fact, the voice of young Su Wan, who had nearly been discovered. However, thanks to Zheng Zhao, who still had a conscience, Su Wan was spared and grew into the strong young man he was today. Su Wan refused to end Song Bang's life quickly. That would have been too merciful. Instead, he severed the tendons in Song Bang's legs, causing him unbearable pain. Just as Su Wan was about to continue his punishment, Zheng Zhao arrived and intervened, stopping him from taking justice into his own hands. After a tense confrontation, Zheng Zhao managed to convince Su Wan that revenge would only drag him further into darkness. Following his advice, they decided to contact Commander Ran Yuan to take Song Bang into legal custody. However, when Ran Yuan arrived, he suddenly struck Zheng Zhao, knocking him unconscious. To their horror, Ran Yuan had been a traitor all along, secretly supporting Song Bang from behind the scenes. Even the raid on the Mexican cartel had been part of their scheme to acquire illegal goods for free. Worse still, Zheng Zhao's mission as an undercover agent for over 15 years had merely been a ploy by Ron Yuan to protect and cover up Song Bang's crimes. In the end, the tables had turned. Zheng Zhao and Su Wan were tied up on the ship and left to burn alive. 2 hours later, a local resident discovered two unconscious men collapsed in front of his home, Zheng Zhao and Su Wan. The two had miraculously survived the fire but were in critical condition. Seeing this, the resident quickly took them to the hospital for emergency treatment. Tragically, Zheng Zhao succumbed to his severe burns, while Su Wan survived, albeit with a disfigured face. In a desperate decision, the surgeon performed a facial transplant, replacing Su Wan's face with Zheng Zhao's. From that moment on, the man the world knew as Zheng Zhao was, in fact, Su Wan, now bearing a new identity. 1 month had passed since Su Wan, now bearing the face of Zheng Zhao, finally awoke from his coma. At the same time, Song Bang was running for office as the new regional leader, aiming to expand his influence and power. Refusing to remain in despair, Su Wan immediately began training to sharpen his physical abilities. On the other hand, Pao Nan, the late Zheng Zhao's wife, was confronted by Commander Ron Yuan, who had sinister intentions. However, Su Wan arrived just in time and shot Ron Yuan in the leg. Initially, Ron Yuan mistook him for Zheng Zhao, his former subordinate whom he could manipulate, but he was gravely mistaken. It was Su Wan. Without hesitation, Su Wan executed Ron Yuan on the spot. After dealing with Ron Yuan, Su Wan took Pao Nan to the riverside for a conversation. With unwavering honesty, he confessed that he was not Zheng Zhao, but Su Wan. He revealed the truth about Zheng Zhao's death in the fire and asked for her permission to seek vengeance in his name. As the day of Song Bang's official inauguration as a candidate for regional leader arrived, he was shocked by the sudden appearance of Zheng Zhao, whom he believed had perished in the fire. Unaware that it was actually Su Wan behind the familiar face, Song Bang fled to one of his luxurious estates, preparing for the inevitable confrontation. Upon Su Wan's arrival, the cowardly Song Bang retreated upstairs, leaving his henchmen to handle the situation. At that time, Song Bang's men thought their sheer numbers and weapons would intimidate Su Wan. However, they were sorely mistaken. Su Wan fought with ruthless precision, cutting down his enemies without hesitation. After eliminating Song Bang's men, Su Wan made his way upstairs, where he was met by Song Bang's top lieutenant, a master swordsman. However, Su Wan, driven by an unshakable will, proved to be a formidable opponent, matching the lieutenant's skill in combat. Following an intense battle, Su Wan emerged victorious. But before he could relish his triumph, Song Bang suddenly appeared from behind and shot him in both legs, leaving him incapacitated. As Song Bang approached, believing he had secured his victory, Su Wan mustered the last of his strength and stabbed him in the stomach. Unfortunately, the wound was not fatal. When Su Wan attempted to stand and finish the job, Song Bang fired again, delivering a final shot that ended Su Wan's life. At the same time, Pao Nan gave birth to her first child, without her beloved husband Zheng Zhao by her side. As she prepared to leave the hospital with her newborn, fate led her into an elevator shared with Song Bang, who had just received treatment for the stab wound inflicted by Su Wan. Unaware that the woman standing next to him was Zheng Zhao's widow, Song Bang and his men boasted about their triumph over Su Wan. Hearing that Su Wan failed to take revenge, Pao Nan did not remain silent. She suddenly attacked and succeeded in taking their lives. In the end, Song Bang did not die at the hands of skilled fighters like Zheng Zhao or Su Wan. Instead, his fate was sealed by a mother who had just given birth, a twist of destiny that no one could have predicted. The end. Moral lesson from the story: if you're going to bribe someone, don't forget to bribe the cat too. It might be a spy song. And remember, wearing a necklace doesn't make you invincible, but it might save your life if your friend has bad aim.